Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Business of Happiness podcast. Hello, my incredible, wonderful women in dentistry. You are in the right place. You are in the right place at exactly the right time. And thank you. Thank you for showing up for you. Because if you're listening to this podcast, it means you have recognized that there is so much more to life than you have been feeling or giving yourself opportunity to receive. And thank you for identifying that this might be the moment for you to shift your definition of success. Because if it's costing you your health, it is not success. It's sacrificing your body. It's sacrificing your body. If you are not finding time to take care of your body, if it is literally costing you your health because of the stress or because of pain or because of ignoring things in your body because you don't have time to take care of it, it is not success. Let's just be honest right now. Maybe this is the episode you needed for honesty with yourself. If it's costing you connection with the people who you love most, who you care most about, if it's costing you time with them, or you're having to turn down opportunities to get together with the people who matter most, or you can't be present with them at night when you're together with them or on the weekends because your mind is being consumed by stress from work, it is not success. It's sacrificing your relationships. If it's costing you choice and autonomy, it's not success. It's sacrificing your freedom. And if it's costing you peace of mind in your head and in your heart, it's not success. It's survival. So have you been confusing success with sacrifice? I wanted to share the story with you of one of my beautiful clients. For the purposes of this podcast, we'll call her Dr. Sarah. And she's just the most beautiful person. I just absolutely love this woman. She is so kind. She just has that air about her of being really gentle. She's such a great, I would imagine, I've never gone to her for dentistry myself, but I would imagine she's the most warm, loving dentist because she just makes you feel really comfortable in her space. She feels like somebody you can really depend on and trust. She's got such a great air about her. And she always wanted to be a dentist. And I know that's not true for most of us. It definitely wasn't true for me. But for Sarah, it really was. When she was really little, she had this incredible dentist who she really looked up to. It was a guy. He was kind, he was gentle, and I think she saw some of herself in him, but she also saw a lot of success and strength and ownership. He was kind and compassionate, but he was also wealthy and stable. He was a great leader, and she really looked up to him. And when she was growing up, her family was anything but. It was really unstable. Mostly financially. Her parents were always in fear of where the next dollar was going to come from. She always was worried about it as a kid, even though it wasn't her job to worry. And, she saw this dentist as an incredibly stable, self-supporting man. And when she recognized as she was going through school that she was doing really well in math and science, that this was something she could really consider, she was so excited when she was in her pre-dent program in college, really imagining, wow, this is a way that I can offer myself dependability, reliability. I can be self-sufficient. And she saw an opportunity for her not only to create stability and safety for herself financially, but also for her family. This was something she could offer a sense of security to her parents. And she also knew she never wanted to live her life like that. Constantly worried about where the next dollar was going to come from, constantly stressing about money, constantly stressing about whether or not she was going to get laid off. Dentistry to her felt stable and secure. It looked like success. And, she did it. She did it. She got through college. She went to dental school and she became a dentist. And now she has everything she thought she wanted. Her patients really love her and they depend on her. Her team really likes her. I mean, she gets along with all of them. She goes to work every day and they know that she's dependable and reliable. She shows up no matter what. Her patients never question it. They know that that appointment that she's going to schedule for them is going to be one she's going to show up to. She's never missed one. And same with her team. She is dependable. In fact, she was telling me about recently 2 of her team members called out sick on the same day. One of them has been having some trouble with headaches. One of them has been having some trouble with her mom being sick. And both of them had the emergency, call that morning, called in and said, neither of us can come in. She has a smallish team, only 5 people on her team. So that meant she was really almost 50% down that day. And what happened? She showed up. She showed up. All the patients were seen that day. She was running like a chicken with her head cut off, but she made it work because she's dependable. She's reliable. Even when other people are sick, not feeling well, or have issues in their family, Sarah shows up. She has this practice. She has this title. She has this image of dependability and stability. Even her family really rely on her in that sense. She's the stable one. She's the dependable one. She's the reliable one. And underneath it all, she is falling apart. She is aching. And when she was talking to me the other day, she said, it feels like I am on a treadmill and I'm running 1,000,000 miles an hour and I don't get a day off. My team can just call in sick whenever they want to. My family can just call up and complain and things are falling apart in their lives. And everyone knows that I will be the one to be stable, to be the hero, to bail them out. My patients rely on me in that way. If there's a problem, they get angry, I deal with it. And she is exhausted. And more than exhausted, she feels like she's created this big career for herself that was her dream all along. It was something she's been wanting for decades. She's finally there, and she is miserable. And maybe you're identifying with this story right now. And I want to give you permission to feel this way because we have so many voices in our heads that tell us that this is selfish to feel this way. And I want to offer you this perspective shift, that it isn't selfish, that it's grief. What if the way you're feeling right now is actually an indication of grief? Because there's a grieving that sets in when success doesn't feel the way it's supposed to. For so long, you've been telling yourself that when I have this XYZ, in Sarah's case, it's stability, financial security, when I'm a dentist, when I'm earning well, when I own a practice, when I have a team that relies on me, when I have patients that rely on me, I will feel successful. For her, that in her mind felt like success. She hadn't yet reached that when she created that definition of success. And now that she's there, it doesn't feel good. And please allow that to be okay. When everything you've built as a business owner, as a dentist, maybe you're not a business owner, maybe you're an associate working in a practice, but feeling the same way and feeling like you're just running 100 miles an hour like Sarah on that treadmill. And you never get the day to say, hey, I have a headache today. Or you never get a day to say, hey, my mom needs me today. I'm going to call in and I'm just going to know that someone's going to handle it. Maybe it's all falling on you and you're realizing, wait a minute, this sacrifice actually doesn't feel like success anymore because success is a feeling. It's not a number. It's not a title. It's not a certain amount of dependability. It's not an amount of stability. It's a feeling. And when your achievement, what you've been working so hard for so long, feels like heaviness, like a weight, maybe it's time to change your definition of success. And that grieving that you're feeling is grieving for what you had hoped. It's a lot like a relationship. Have you ever been in a relationship that really needed to end? Maybe it was a friendship, maybe it was an intimate, loving relationship. And looking back, you realized, oh my gosh, that needed to end, but you still grieved it. You still were sad about it. It was toxic. It was hurtful. It needed to end. But man, there's a grief. And the grieving is of what you had hoped it could be. And that is exactly what you may be experiencing right now. And I just want to hold space for you if that is what you're feeling. Because maybe you've been beating yourself up saying, no, this is selfish. No, changing my path. I'm dependable. I'm reliable. Other people depend on me. I don't have the opportunity to change. I've been working so hard for this for so long and I'm finally here. Now's not the time to change. I just want to give you permission to pause for a moment and recognize you're not being selfish. And this isn't failure. This is called wisdom. You have gone through life working towards a goal you thought was going to feel different. And you're here now and it doesn't. And you get to pivot. You get to change. Because when the reward for doing it all is only that more and more is expected of you, when the reward for where you are means more work, that's not success. That feels like a shackle, shackling you to something you thought was going to feel like success. And that quiet grief that you're experiencing, maybe you've been telling yourself that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. But the first permission you need to give yourself is to feel that sadness and to let it be okay. Because maybe you're realizing that this career path that you've created for yourself is draining you. And the first step in recovery is admitting, wait a minute, I have something that doesn't feel good right now. But if you keep denying yourself that feeling, you'll never reach the next level of your growth. And I want to honor you again if this is how you're feeling, because maybe you're feeling a little bit of resentment for where you are in life. Maybe you're feeling resentment towards your patients. Maybe you're feeling resentment towards your job. Yes, I know you wanted it once. I know you dreamt of it. I know you worked so hard for it. But that resentment is an indication that there's some grieving happening, that there's a little bit of disappointment, maybe anger, maybe frustration, maybe just sadness. And in dentistry, that looks like not feeling fulfilled. That looks like feeling like something is out of alignment. And here's what it is, the truth, because it is. You've allowed yourself to evolve where your values have changed. And this feeling is simply an indicator that now this version of what you've been calling success is not in alignment with your values anymore. And I quote her so often, but Bronnie Ware's book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and I'm going to repeat it again. If you've heard me say this, I think she's the coolest person because she wrote this beautiful book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret that she identified, by the way, she was a palliative care nurse who took care of hundreds and thousands of patients over her career near death. And she learned from them that there were really top 5 regrets of most people when they come to their last days. And the number one regret she identified is, I wish I had lived my life true to myself and not the life someone else expected of me. And maybe right now, you're living a life that your 10-year ago self expected of you. And you are no longer her. You have changed. Give yourself permission to have changed. You know, I've been married to my husband for almost 25 years. And to this day, we keep saying to each other, babe, you are not the man I married 25 years ago. I am not the person he married 25 years ago. And there's so much permission in that. I am so grateful that we have continued to commit to one another. And I absolutely know that that's not guaranteed, even in our future, because we are not the same people. You are not the same person, perhaps, who created that definition of success 10, 20, 30 years ago. You might be today a completely different version of yourself. I hope you are, because that means you've given yourself permission to grow and evolve. And maybe this feeling right now is just a misalignment of your values today. And what you keep telling yourself is success is actually sacrificing, giving yourself that permission. Because fulfillment isn't just about what you've built. Just because you've built it, just because you've achieved it, doesn't mean it guarantees fulfillment. Fulfillment is about how it feels to live inside it. You're allowed to outgrow your version of success. You are allowed to outgrow what you've built and to evolve. And can we for a moment just shift a little bit into excitement? What if this moment right now is actually the moment that will change everything for you? Imagine for a moment your life 5 years from now if nothing changes. I just want you to picture that. If nothing changes, what would life look like in 5 full years from now? Just recognize, how old will you be in 5 years? How old will your children be in 5 years? How much further along in your relationship will you be? How much longer will you be married if you're married? How old will your parents be in 5 years? What will 5 years from now look like? If nothing changes for you, what will your body look like? What will it feel like in 5 years? What will your relationships right now, all the relationships that you're not making time for right now, that you're not honoring because work is taking precedence, because the dependability that you're feeling other people have on you, what will that look like in 5 years? And now I want you to imagine, what could it look like in 5 years if you gave yourself permission to pivot, to make a change? And maybe that change is big and maybe it's really, really small. But you know, if you've been resonating with this episode, there's something inside of you that knows something needs to change. And if you gave yourself that permission, if you had the courage, let's just say right now, you had the courage to make that change, what could it look like in 5 years? How would that feel? 5 full years, that's a long time. Look at how much you've done in the last 5 years. Imagine if you had the courage right now to make that change. 5 years from now, what would that look like? In terms of your growth, in terms of the health of your body, in terms of the health of your relationships. We were just talking about what people who are near the end of their lives value, what they think about when they look back over their lives. I promise you, they're not counting the number of patients they saw in a day. What is out of alignment for you? And what could 5 years from now look like if you just honored yourself? Hey, I am grieving this moment because this ship that I built is not the one I want now. It was one that I thought 10 years ago, 20 years ago looked pretty good, would feel like success. And now I'm learning something different. And I want to give yourself permission to call it wisdom. This is wisdom. You deserve to write your own definition of success, not the one others expect of you, not the one your 20-year-ago self expects of you, but rewriting your definition of success now based on the wisdom that you have of your life's journey. And remember this, it's how you feel. It's a feeling. Success isn't a thing. It isn't an accomplishment. It isn't a title. It isn't a house. It isn't a practice. It isn't a dependability. Success is a feeling in your body. And when you feel good, that is when you can do some amazing things in your own life and in the world. Take care of yourself, my friend. You get to be the one that takes care of you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Business of Happiness podcast. If this episode brought you new perspective and value, I invite you to subscribe so that you catch all upcoming episodes and leave us a review. And if you know of a friend or colleague who could benefit from this perspective, share this episode with them and empower their day. For more information about the business of happiness and the Radical Happiness for Practitioners course, find me on www.thebizofhappiness.com. See you there.